Hey, good evening. This is Big Bill coming to you from Model Railroading Live. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You're muted, John. You're muted. John.
Not yet, Bill. The countdown's going. Now you're.
Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Big Bill from Model Railroading Live, and tonight's Who's Big Bill Talking To? We'll have our guest in a moment. I have been having some technical difficulties with this computer of late. I've been told that it is due to the influx and people out there at home streaming every day, homeschooling and remote learning and remote doing all kinds of things, and my computer is all messed up. And so if we might go out, unfortunately, we'll get back to you as soon as possible, and I hope we don't. But technology is great when it works, and when it doesn't, it doesn't. But anyway, tonight is March 24th, 2021, and this is Who's Big Bill Talking To? And as I said, we will have our guest out in a minute. He's in the green room chomping on some gasoline station sushi. I hope it's fresh because John just went and got it. So we'll see what happens. I hope he's up to it. I hope he's feeling better. Just want to give you a few heads up. Tomorrow will be Thursday the 25th. It always follows that way, 24, 25, 26, and so forth and so on. And that tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will have Johnny's Train Talk Show on. And that is where you, the community, guys, can come in, just like I'm talking here. You guys can be on the radio as well and talk to John and, hang out. If you have a train question or any kind of bring and brag, something you're working on and you want to share it, by all means, please do. If not, you can still view. We have timely people that show up. If you have a question, you can put it in the Q&A. That's tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All the shows on Model Railroading Live are on that at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And stuff like that. So mosey on down to Johnny's Train Talk Show, 9 p.m. Eastern. I think I said that already. I'm being repetitive. And pull up a chair, pull a soda out of the old ice box there, and have a good time. Also, what else are we doing? We're having no, that's the other thing. What else? Oh yeah, I just wanted to mention we are doing Patreon. We are doing Patreon. We've been doing it now for about our third week. It's just you can give all at once, or you can do a $5 a month or a $10 a month. I joined and did a $10 a month, so technically, I guess I'm paying myself. I don't know, but it just takes money to run this yard stream and whereby and all that other cool stuff that we're doing. So, and we're pretty much dipping into our own pockets to pay for it. To be honest, the truth of it is that the cost has become exorbitant. So, not exorbitant to the point where it's breaking the bank, but I'm on a fixed income. John's on a fixed income. Ralph's on a fixed income. The other guys are supporting their families and stuff. So we want to bring you the highest quality of, content and show as we can. None of the money is going to be used to do, we're not going to buy stuff for ourselves, nor are we going to go on a fantastic all paid expense trip to New Jersey, Newark or Trenton. We're not going to do that. We just want to use it to offset the cost. So we have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com and look up on the Model Railroading Live. And if you want to give, by all means, please do one-time donation, or if you want to join up for the 5 or the 10, by all means, please do that as well. We'd greatly appreciate all the help we can get. With that said, go shake the cushions in the couch out. You know you got money laying in the bottom of the washing machine. Pull that change out. Do what you got to do. Turn the kids upside down by the ankles. Shake. No, don't do that. 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 Just kidding. But, patreon.com. Look it up at Model Railroading Live. Anything you can do. We're still working out the logistics as far as like what we're going to do. I think one of the things we've come up with is if you do the $10 a month thing at the end of the year, just like AML does, we're going to give you one of these shirts. It will be embroidered though, not silk screened. Which one? I'm backwards here. Yeah. Anyway, it will have the MRL model logo, collared shirt, black, just like us, just like what we wear. So that's something we're looking into. The other $5 thing, we don't know. So I'm spending way too much time on the Patreon, and I want to get to my guest right away, who's probably, just finishing up the free food that we left in there. So without further ado, let me bring my guest in. Tonight's guest is Dustin Pendergast. And hello, Dustin.
Good. How are you?
Good. How was the gasoline sushi? Was it?
I was looking for the chocolates. Didn't find any.
We did, but I ate them.
Oh.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. That's good. That's my weakness anyway. I bought my. Do you ever get this thing up in Canada called Swiss Colony? You ever get their? It's a chocolatier thing. They sell all kinds of like dried fruits and sausages, and they send you this nice little catalog.
No, nothing like that.
Yeah, well, we got this catalog a couple of weeks ago, and my wife is a big chocolate addict. She loves chocolate. So I bought her this large-sized chocolate bunny, and I thought for sure it would be, when you get those chocolate bunnies, like when you go to the Walgreens or CVS and they have the bunnies for Easter, you get them and they're usually a hollow type chocolate. That's what I actually thought it was going to be. But today they delivered it. The FedEx driver could have thrown it through my window and it wouldn't have broke. When I took it out of the box, it was this piece of heavy, solid milk chocolate. And, my wife will be munching on this for at least.
Well, I guess Bill got locked up, froze up. That's what he gets for watching the movie Frozen. How you doing, Dustin?
Good.
Okay, we'll kind of run this thing on a shoestring until Bill gets unfroze.
Are you back?
I'm back.
Okay, I'll let you have it then.
Everybody else was frozen except me.
No, you were frozen.
Oh, I was talking and Dustin, this is terrible, Dustin.
Yeah, your computer needs to go in the shop, man.
Yeah, it does. Hey, we're back. I'm sorry for that, folks. This computer, I just was advised by my technical people that this has to go in the shop. It does, absolutely. Dustin, I do apologize for this technical difficulty. I really do. It's not fair to you. So, Dustin, welcome to the show.
Right. Happy to be here.
Good. Now, you have a YouTube channel called Paul Frank.
I do, yeah.
And it has nothing to do with Dustin Pendergast.
Nope. It's a little confusing, I know, but it's just random.
And when I was watching it myself, and then Ralph Renzetti, aka the Mudfather, he said, you should check out this guy Paul Frank. And I said, it's funny. I said, I already did. It looks pretty cool. You do a lot of stop action on that.
Yeah, I've done a couple. Most of it is shorts and a little bit.
Oh yeah, here we are. We're looking at something here right now. Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, that's the first one I did. Yeah.
That's so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun to do. It's really easy to do, actually. Anybody could do it.
I couldn't do it. I can't even get on this friggin' thing. So,
Yeah.
wow. How did you come up with that? What was the genesis of that?
Poor Frank. Well, I guess it was almost a year ago. Like I said, I bought some mini print figures from miniprints.ca. They're a Canadian company that sort of makes all these little bits and pieces that you can buy, mostly animals and things like that. And I bought some bears. I wanted some bears to put on my module, and I just thought, oh, I'll set up a little scene, and I posted it to Facebook. Yeah, everybody liked it, it seemed, and so I thought, okay, and then I just did another one, and then it just kind of snowballed from there.
It's really different and innovative, and it really shows. It actually highlights the hobby. I mean, the model railroading, because you encompass it into the into your hobby as well as your layout. Now, you don't have a big layout, right? From what we talked about, you have a module, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, it's a Fremo module. It's only 8 feet long by 2 feet wide. So I did recently put a little extension on the end of it that's about, one piece of flex track long, so about 36 inches. And it's just gives me a little bit more, operating room and that. And it's really designed just to sort of test my scenery techniques and things like that. I do plan to build a proper railroad around the room that I'm currently in.
Would this be the room that you're in now that it would be built in?
Yeah.
It would be. Yeah. And how big is that room?
It's only about 13 by 13.
Only by 13 by 13.
Yeah.
We're just going to have a small empire there. That's all. But that's cool. And is it anything so obviously I've gathered that you are a Canadian by your t-shirt.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah. And so is your module and is the trains that you run, are they basically like CN and
CP are going to be heavily featured for sure. I've pretty much based it on the interior of British Columbia, and in the interior of British Columbia, CN and CP have a trackage sharing agreement, and what that means is all CN and CP will run east on CP trackage in the canyon in the middle of BC, and all CN and CP traffic going west will run on the CN side. So there's an opportunity there to kind of model both railroads in one setting, and that's kind of what that scenery that on that module is based around.
Right, and you said that you're doing this 8-foot module to perfect your scenery. From what I saw on the thing, your scenery skills look good. I mean, we can all improve on our scenery, of course, but do you really think that? Do you sense that you need a little bit more practice?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, that module is. I started out with, for instance, it's the base of the module is covered in brown latex paint with some tan sanded grout sprinkled into it. But now I've kind of come to the realization that I actually prefer sifted dirt from underneath my porch. And
right.
It works really well. So I've kind of just, as I've been playing with it, kind of just adjusting my techniques as I go.
Right. Ralph Renzetti wants to know, what part of Canada are you from?
British Columbia, yeah.
British Columbia.
So I live in Victoria, which is on Vancouver Island. So we're actually just south of the 49th parallel in Victoria.
Oh,
so
really?
Across from like Bellingham for those on the west coast.
Okay. Ralph is on the east side of Canada, the east. And, I just, it's funny you should mention this. I was just watching last night that Michigan actually has a piece of their outer island that you have to go through Canada in order to get to this section of Michigan.
And we have that in British Columbia as well. There's a place called Roberts Bank, and it's actually near Point Roberts, and Point Roberts is actually American territory, and you have to get to Canada. The only way you can get to it is through Canada. And so there's a pretty loosey-goosey border there that allows them to go into Canada to shop, because there's not that much in Point Roberts. It's just not very big at all.
Yeah, that's what this gentleman was talking about last night. He was talking about, in order for the Americans that live in this small community, they have to come through Canada, but because of COVID-19, the Canadian border has been locked down. So
Right.
they've been trying to, they couldn't come across the water down from there because the water's too rough. So they were trying to figure this innovative way to come. That's pretty interesting stuff. So you actually live in an island, on British.
Yeah, we're on an island. I mean, I might get off the island a couple times a year. It's not there's so much here, I don't need to leave. But we're just across, so I just take a ferry to Vancouver, British Columbia.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So you have delicatessens, Chinese restaurants. You have McDonald's and Burger King.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where do I sign up?
Yeah. we don't have the Carl's Juniors or In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. You got Chinese and you got a delicatessen, right? So what's the problem? You get cable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And how is, so there are no, excuse my ignorance, really, when it comes to stuff like this. So there are no trains run through the island.
Not anymore. We used to have a railroad that ran north to south on the island, just a single line, and it was mainly passenger. There is a little bit of freight that's still done in the middle of the island in Nanaimo, for those who know the area. But now we don't get any sort of freight traffic in Victoria anymore. So
no.
If I want to see live stuff, I got to get off the island.
Yeah, Ralph Renzetti says that your ferry ride is 2 hours plus.
1 hour and 35 minutes, but you got to wait on each side, and so you're there for a couple hours for sure.
Is it a car ferry?
Sorry, yeah, it is. Yep.
Oh man, the things I learned.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing I had you on the show just to learn that. I get to talk to people all over the world, but here's a neighbor that, as my Uncle Bob, Uncle Bob would say, the Canada, the hat to America.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty cool. So Dustin, when did you get in? I mean, how long have you been involved in model railroading? Has this been something that has been, you just said, I'm sitting here on an island, just want to do something, so I'm going to get into model railroading?
Well, it started way back, probably in 1983. So I was 5 then, and my dad and my mom got me this, the typical starter set, just a circle HO scale track and an engine and 5 cars or whatever it was.
Right.
That's how I started.
Wow. So back then, it was just around the table, under the tree kind of thing?
He had a 4x4 sheet of plywood.
Right.
Painted it brown, or stained it brown. I think he had some stain on hand or something, and then nailed the track to it, and that's just what I had for many years.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so cool. That's how you got your start. So now you had that. Now, did you have this through your teenage years as well?
No, I think I didn't. I used that probably for maybe 5 years or so, and then by the time I was like 12 or 13, I started making my own sort of layouts in my dad's shop, and just get a 4x8 sheet of plywood, lay some track on it, and run whatever I had on it.
Oh, cool. So when did you really get serious into, was your first layout? I mean, at that moment when you said, hey, listen, I'm going to build something now, I've been, kind of like, when did you start that endeavor?
Well, yeah, I probably didn't start that until I had my own place. So I think I went on a bit of a hiatus in the meantime. So I would say probably not until 2008 was when I really got back into it.
Right. And was the first time you did, was it this module set, this HO module?
No, it was N scale actually, and I had a 10 by 10 room in our old house, and I had built it around the room, and it was going to be 2 decks. I had a lighting valence and all that stuff, and then had 2 kids, and we decided, we got to move, and so we moved to this house that we're in today, and been here about 7 years, almost 8 years now, and I didn't even set up here initially right away either. So, but by the time I did, I'm in my 40s now, and it's like, holy crap, I can't see very far. So now I got glasses, so I figured I better get into HO scale, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah. So now the error that you run on this modules that you do, is it present day, or
Yeah, it's an evolving present day, right? So I would say it's anything from the 2000s and up will be legit on there.
Oh, that's cool. Eric Hall says, not sure of the young man's age, which he just told us was 40, but this reminds me of an old Sinbad and Jason in the Argonaut movie. He says, just add skeletons, minotaurs, and tragulites, and we'd have a movie. Why? Because he's on an island? Come on.
I'm subscribed to him, actually.
So you're subscribed to Eric Hall?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious! Another Hall enthusiastic. Yeah, he's pretty good. We had a good interview. Did you see the interview with them last week?
I didn't. No, sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. But I am RRO Com was an interesting interview last week. It was very enthusiastic and very uplifting. I got to see the side of Eric that I've had few snippets of conversations with him in the past, but this was the longest we had, and it was really an eye-opener and stuff like that for me. It was good. It was a good thing, and it was good to see him. And he's doing his new company called Wild Hair Limited, and he's going to be doing some 3D printing and stuff in HO scale. So keep that in mind, Dustin. You might
be able to do that, yeah.
Yes, and he's all doing it through Midwest Model Hobbies shop, which that was such a shameless plug. I can't believe it. But hey, what are you going to do? We got to pay the rent.
Well, I'll check that interview out for sure.
Yes, please do. And Eric says, I feel bad for you, Dustin. The unsubscribe button is on the lower right. Never. We would never do that. Never do that. Come on. Who were some of the people that influenced you, Dustin, during your coming of your modeling age? Was there anybody in particular or a group of?
Yeah. I've always been a fan of Tony Kester. He probably was one of my bigger influences, because I think my first model railroader I bought was in 1989, and I just kind of followed him all the way.
His column, Train of Thought.
Yeah.
Yes, I myself was a big. I used to like. I got from him one day on one column, Good Enough. There was a column he wrote about how we try to strive for perfection in the hobby, and it basically boils down to it's good enough.
Right. Yeah.
So Tony Kestner and anyone else?
I think more recently, I'd say Mike Confalone with his Allagash railroad.
Yes, good choice.
His kind of scenery I really strive for. Bob Fallowfield, he's a Canadian guy, right? His stuff is really inspiring as well.
Yeah, all very good modelers and all very good, and especially in operations, on operating wise, they're really good. That's cool. So, I just had a senior moment. That's because I'm thinking about this freaking computer. That's why I'm getting pissed off. Oh, excuse me. I do apologize. What was I going to say to you? I was going to say something of monumental importance, Dustin. I really was. So those guys were the influence in you. How about structural wise, I mean, does anybody step out at you? I mean, the Allagast is really, that's some railroad. I mean,
Mhm.
that is some railroad, you know.
Yeah, he's got a lot of custom stuff that he's had some other guys make for him on there, and not at that point yet myself. So the only model, actually, the only building structure I've ever made it to make is that grain elevator that's actually on my module. For anyone who's seen that, and that's just
Really?
a Walther's kit, and that's as far as I've made it with structures.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Do you feel adventurous? I mean, I know that sometimes what happens with us is, you know, we do the plastic kits and we try to embellish upon them and stuff. But do you feel that sometimes you might get like the structural kits, the craftsman kits, that just might, you know, do you say to yourself, oh, that might be just above my pay scale and I don't really want to try it?
Um, I don't know I'm there yet. You know, I've explored a little bit with using styrene to make some of my own stuff. So on that module, there is an underpass for a road, and I built that out of styrene. It's the first thing I'd ever made out of styrene, and made some mistakes with it, and now I know what I'm not going to do the next time. So
Right. And the mistakes that you made, how did you overcome them? How did you overcompensate? I mean, not overcompensate, but how did you compensate for the mistakes? Was it one of those like throw it against the wall kind of mistake, or John, that was a mistake, I won't do that again?
yeah, it's kind of like, okay, I'm just going to make it work. It's
Right.
you know,
Right.
I made, for instance, I made the underpass walls out of styrene, and I probably should have made them a little bit beefier.
Yeah.
I can make it work, and I just backfilled it with some plaster, and it seems to be okay. But yeah, next time I'll do it different, right?
Yeah.
The goal with this is to learn.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. You know, I see Joey Buckzek. Hey Joe, how are you, brother? Are there any hobby shops on the island, or do you have to ferry over to the mainland to find anything outside of online shopping, of course?
We had three main hobby shops on the island, and two out of those three have closed. One's since gone under new ownership, but the selection is really small because they're not a train shop; they're just an everything shop. So most of what I get now is online.
Yeah, and especially now with the COVID, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and now that's starting to wind down a bit anyway. So, but yeah, you know, and stuff. But getting back to the scratch building and the building, you know, what I find is like, you know, when you know, I start when I built the plastic models, it was like, you know, just lining them up and getting them to be square, you know, was the thing. And then I ventured last year into, I guess you'd call it, I went out and bought Imagine That Laser Art, Nick Massey. He's a Canadian as well. I bought one of his module sets and put it together. And you can tell it's like my first time doing it. You know, it's supposed to be one of my premier buildings on the layout, but it's far from it. And, you know, but then you know, you say to yourself, am I going to spend that kind of money and am I going to do it? But you know what? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. So I went out and I bought another one. And this time I actually read the instructions that Nick put in. Not only does he take the time to put the laser kit and cut all the MDF board, but he actually prints up some pretty good instructions.
Yeah, it'll help.
Yeah, that does. I'm one of those guys that just like, you know, I don't need those. What are they? Kidding me? You know, come on. That's why whenever I do engine work, or I used to have a couple of parts left over, but you know. And my wife would drive the car, and I'd say, "Did you hear that noise anymore?" She goes, "No, no." I said, "It went away." So I said, "Good, you don't hear it." She's, "No, I just turned the radio up on the car." So what are you gonna do? But boom, I'll be here all week, folks. Let me just wet my whistle here, Dustin.
You need to have Johnny queued up with the but I'm ching.
Oh, hey, Dustin. Randall Ellis wants to know, what is your favorite locomotive?
That's a good question. I really like the SW1200s.
Yeah,
I've got a couple of those.
me and you.
The ES 44 ACs are nice as well. I don't own any of those yet. Got to save some coin to get those, I think. But
Yeah.
those are probably my two favorites. I really would like to see is a GP9. They use them quite a bit up here for switcher work and belt pack stuff.
Right. Is your layout going to be a switching operational layout?
Yeah, when I get around to building it, it's definitely going to be operations based. So staging and centered probably around a yard somewhere.
Good. Yeah. Ralph Renzetti, aka the Mudfather, wants to know, with these engines that you would be buying, would you be weathering them?
Yes, I would. Yeah.
Oh, there's your Uncle Bob. There's your Uncle Bob, Ralphie. Joey Buzak says that Athearn Genesis makes a good ES44 AC.
They do, and they have a Canadian, the Canadian Pacific that's really nice. Intermountain has a decent, I think it's the DC version. It's Canadian National, but yeah, they're all really nice now these days. It's really, the detail is insane.
Yes, it is, isn't it? I mean, it really is, and stuff. And Eric Hall says, "Operation for the win." Yes.
Yeah.
Double or nothing. Yes.
Operations will take you further, right? I mean, I love running a train in a circle and just sitting back, have a beer or whatever, watch the train go around. But you can only do that so much, and I really do enjoy operations, so that's got to be the way to go.
Yeah, John trained BFGRS. Do you have Rapido equipment, a good Canadian producer of model railway products? Yeah, they are a good producer of model railway. Yes, they are.
Yeah, I've got I have 3 Rapido engines, multiple Rapido cars. This shirt is actually from Rapido.
Okay, there you go.
So there you go. I've got that too.
Shameless plug for Rapido. Yeah, yes. That's all right. Mojave Model Railroad. Hello, Tina. With everything that poor Frank gets into, how does he still have a job on the railroad?
He doesn't report any of it. I think that's the problem.
Oh, yeah, it's all under the thing. Yeah. See, the guy would be urinating into a plastic cup a lot.
Daily, yeah.
It's probably clean, though. He wouldn't mind. But, yeah. I like poor Frank. When I first saw the videos, I was like, wow, this is different and interesting. I mean, it showed a way to highlight the what do you call it? Joey Bazak says, oh, did you say if your room layout will be point-to-point, or will it support continuous running as well?
Yeah, it's going to be, I would operate it in a point-to-point fashion. But I would leave that option for continuous running. So what I'm trying to torn between in this 13 by 13 room is a single deck enough? Do I need to go to a double deck? And if you go to a double deck, where does the helix go? In a room that small, you really can't climb high enough on a grade. So, I've been tossing that around, trying to acquire some real estate outside of the room. The CFO is not really hearing me on that right now, so yeah.
I understand. I understand completely. Honda, what would your operations be based on? Prototypical area or freelance? That's from Split Rock 323.
Yeah, I definitely would do it in a prototype fashion with a little. I think probably proto lance is probably the way to call it, right? Like it's going to be based on the prototype scene. I'm going to have to do something to make it work in a tiny space.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honda asked the question. Honda VFR800 FI. Honda. He asked the question as you were talking. He said, "Will you consider a double deck design in such a small space?"
That dude knows the answer to that question already. He's my best friend.
Is he?
So he knows the answer. Yes, I absolutely would consider a double deck in that space.
Oh, is Honda also a model railroader?
He is, in scale.
And scale. Hey, Honda, welcome to the show. Welcome to Who's Big Bill Talking to. Just to give you guys a heads up out there, we are talking to Dustin Pendergast of Poor Frank Railroad that he has on YouTube channel. So please go check him out. And on YouTube, it's under Poor Frank. Split Rock 323 says, there is a Poor Frank on every railroad, real and model. Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Eric Hall says, double deck fix. Ask Big Bill about a barge operation. Just float the barge to the next deck. Yeah, I hate to do that. The flooding and the water damage alone. Joey Bazak says, triple deck. I don't know.
Triple deck, yeah, I don't know. I'm not tall enough.
I don't know myself. Hey, Mojave Model Railroad says, you said your layout is a Fremo, I believe. Do you have groups where you can bring your modular and run it in a group setting?
Not on the island that I'm aware of. I certainly could take it to the interior, into the mainland of BC, like Vancouver and that, and do that. It'd be a heck of a challenge to get that thing out of that room. I had originally intended to build it in 2 4-foot sections, made a couple miscuts on some very expensive birch plywood and decided that, or maple plywood, and decided that, you know what, it's going to be 8 feet now. And I can get it out. I'm pretty sure I can get it out, but it's going to be probably when I pass away that it gets taken out. So
alongside the casket at the funeral home.
Yeah.
This is
it's going to be built better than that casket.
I'm sure. Hey, I went through the same thing the other day. Michael Lambertino's in the house. Hey, Mike, how long time no see. Glad to have you aboard. What was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you. So when you start building the next layout, are you going to encompass this 8-foot modular into it, or is that will be scrapped?
Yeah, that's a great question. That is my ethical debate. What do I do? The amount of money that I've sunk into this stupid thing is insane. You know, the dollars per square foot of this thing is insane. So I don't know. The problem with it is in a 13-foot room, I've got 8 feet of completely straight track.
Right.
I have to start ripping it up to even get curves to get around the corners that are decent and would handle the rolling stock that I want to roll through them. So I'm just going to pretend that it's not a problem, and we'll just ignore that for now.
Just ignore that elephant in the room. Yeah. Eric Hall says, I have like 3 decks and multi-helixes. I have seen the dark side. Yes.
Yeah. In end scale, I could have done that. I'm not a big fan of helixes, but you know, like all it takes is a few runs in a helix, and you've already got more length of track in that helix than you got in your entire layout. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
True. Split Rock 323 says, make each level a different portion of the same railroad. No need to connect. Yeah, I guess. No need to connect. And then, yeah, all right. I hear what you're saying. That's not a bad idea. You know. Yeah, the cost of it is like, you know, when I first built my layout, I actually did I wanted to see how much money, how hobby dollars per hour. Because my wife's a mathematician. And she suggested it to me. You know, she suggests, you know, you should do a thing on that layout. I mean, from cost and everything, and you know, find out how much it costs per hobby hour for you to do. So when everything was, you know, under it averaged out about $10 to $15 per hour.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was at the height of the build. You know, like the lumber. And then after the lumber, I went and bought all the train, you know, components, the track, you know, the switches. I bought it all at once because I had budgeted into my what I wanted to do. So it was higher, but then it started to level off And then normally, you know how it is, like when you're building or you're getting into the hobby, you everything is exponentially, off the charts because you're buying tools
Yeah.
that you need. You're seeing things that you need for the layout. Oh, let me get that tool. Let me buy the X-Acto knife. Let me get this. Let me get that. So it went up. But then now I noticed my wife just did it about 2 years ago. She came back and she started me being in here and working down, and it kind of like averages out to about anywhere from $4 per hour to about $7 per hobby hour, because everything is already here.
Yeah, my wife, she's an economist, and so what she did is she figured out with our life insurance policy that I'm still, as at my age right now, more valuable alive than dead. So that's the best that I can come up with right now. So I'll just keep spending money, and
there you go. Split Rock says it's called a chainsaw layout for a reason. Donate the current one and build a new one better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think that's what's going to end up happening. Yeah.
Split Rock again says at Joey, he says, my friend has a Minnesota commercial layout on 2 levels, shelf style, elevated district and downtown district, no connection. That Split Rock, that is really a good idea, because you don't need to have the connection because it's basically the same railroad. You're just working between them.
Yep.
Let's see, Frank DeLauro, had to work late. What did I miss? Well, I'm not telling you, Frank. All right, figure it out yourself. Frank's my good buddy. He's my bestest pal. We worked together in the transit authority. He was a motorman. When Frank walked into the room, he was a weightlifter at the time. He'd say, "Hey, my name is Frank. I pick things up. I put things down. How are you today?" Really, that's what he sounded like. No, Frank, we're talking to Dustin Pendergast from Victoria, British Columbia, Victoria. And we're talking about his layout. He has an 8-foot HO scale layout where he has done this amazing video. It's his YouTube channel is called Poor Frank, and he has incorporated, there it is, the link if you want to check it out, the stop action stuff where Poor Frank kind of reminds me of you when you worked at the transit authority. He was always getting into some sort of difficulty. You should check it out. It's Poor Frank. He's always getting into some sort of, mix up. He's getting into something, and stuff like that. But go check it out. Eric Hall says just the cost of basic supplies, lumber, etc., have gone way up. I spent more money on my latest 12-foot in Mammoth than I did in the previous 45 4 years ago. Yeah, I just saw a thing on a news blurb with lumber is so high that people, contractors, homeowners, do-it-yourselfers are holding off on purchasing lumber because it's way too expensive.
Yeah, there's a lot of costs, and you spend a lot of money up front as well, right? Like you're saying earlier about you want to buy this tool or this and that, and all of my my turnouts on the layout are all fast tracks turnouts, and so they're hand built turnouts using their jigs and that. So you got to buy the jig, you got to buy the block to file down the rail. So there's all this sort of front-ended costs, and then you're building the layout.
Right, exactly right. It's exactly right. It's sometimes it's like cost prohibitive. I just bought some. I'm redoing a section on my layout right behind me, and I just bought I think maybe 5 to 6 turnouts at a very very good price, but still, expensive, and stuff. Split Rock has a question. Do you find enjoyment doing the videos and detailing the scenes and rolling stock due to having a smaller layout?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun to do it. I'm running out of real estate, running out of space, running out of everything, because 8 feet only takes you so far. So very soon I plan to just kind of get on with it and design the darn thing. I've done a couple of designs, and I just got to settle on it and just get moving and get poor Frank some more real estate.
Yeah, I hopefully after this we can motivate you to sit down with the chief operating officer and see how much. I have a great video on that. You should go check. I'm not plugging my channel, South Brooklyn Railroad. Yes, I am, but I have a thing called a video called The Negotiation, and how to negotiate real estate with your wife. You should go check it out.
The problem is I don't negotiate. I don't negotiate with terrorists, so he doesn't watch this, so I'm good, right?
You know something? I said something to that similar to that to my wife a couple of years ago, and I didn't see it for 3 weeks. 3 weeks, and then the swelling went down in my eyes, Dustin. For a skinny Italian lady, she can wallop, I don't negotiate with terrorists, though. She better not be watching this, bro.
No. I think I'm safe for now.
You think you're safe? Okay.
If I don't post for a while, you know what happens.
Yeah. I hear you. We'll send up the mounted police. Listen, I got this friend up in British. You got to send somebody to check, do a safety check. And stuff. Then she answers the door. Is Dustin Pendergast here? Dustin who? Then we know we're in trouble. But I hope that you do. I understand the real estate is tough to negotiate. We always want the bigger, the better, the empire. Possum Bayou says, I wish I had bought the fast track tools. No one makes really good end scale code 55 turnouts. Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's very true. I started with fast tracks in end scale, and I tell you the turnouts. When you roll your cars across a commercial turnout, sometimes the wheels will get into the frog a little bit.
Yes.
Tick 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 as it goes through. With the fast tracks, you hear
yes. Yes.
It's like it's rolling on glass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I purchased Ken Amos Jr. BNO 50 _ 51 says, hey, save money on lumber by ripping plywood into 3 1/2 inch rips. Plenty strong and stays straight and cheaper than 1x4s.
And that's how I built that module. So it's all 3/4 inch ply, and I ripped it into 4-inch strips. And I built all of my stuff out of ply now.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Mojave Model Railroad Tina says his new channel after that comment will be Poor Dustin. But what was it? Yeah, it's just it's also the motivation too. Of getting it done, wanting that, because there's obviously you have a young family, young children at home, and that takes in your wife, and not everything is, in your job, you got to go to job to make the cha-ching, to put the food on the table, pay the bills, keep the lights on, and run the cars and stuff. Yeah. So it's time, and then it's priorities of how you want to spend, what are they called? Discretionary funds, if we have any this year. If we have any at all, it's hard. I know myself, I go through, kind of like buyer's remorse, when I buy something, like, because I'm on a fixed income, and it's like, do I really need this? Do I really need to purchase this? Do I really need to get something, and stuff? But, you do what you got to do, and you got to have fun, because life is way too short, man. Tomorrow is promised to no one. Like you said, your wife's an economist, and for your age, and last time I checked, I live behind the cemetery here. Yeah, there's a cemetery. It's called Fairview Cemetery, and every time I see a funeral procession, and the hearse pulls in, I have never in my 36 years living here, I have never seen a U-Hauler hooked hitched up to the van, hitched up to the hearse. The only thing they take out of the back of that is the guy or the woman who's going to reside in the cemetery. I never see a U-hauler. There's nothing they can bring with them. That's it. It's
Yeah.
done.
Can't take it with you. That's the old
So,
thing.
as they say, you don't want to go to the grave in a well-preserved body. You want to go sliding in sideways, going, holy moly, was that a ride or what? So live it to the fullest.
Yeah.
What it says here, Mojave Model Railroad, Tina, besides doing videos, what part of the hobby do you really enjoy? Benchwork, wiring, scenery, etc., etc., etc.
That's a great question. I have a very short attention span, so I love getting the bench work sort of done up in a hurry. I live for the scenery, though. That's probably my favorite part, but I can only do so much of anything for a short period of time before I kind of go, I got to do something else. So I'll find myself procrastinating just on even getting that stuff done. And so, but yeah, scenery is probably my number one.
Yeah. That you like doing. What video equipment and editing software do you use? SplitRock323 asks.
So the entire Poor Frank is done just on my phone. I use iMovie on the phone. I record it on the phone. I edit it on the phone, and that is it. And it goes straight to YouTube from there. Probably the biggest thing that's really improved the quality of my videos is lighting. So I've bought some external lighting that I use that I shine onto the layout when I'm filming, and that kind of increases the quality significantly.
That's good. That lighting is big. Lighting is big. Possum Bayou says, I have 2 kids on going to college. What is the discretionary funds? Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. Eric Hall says, I have a PhD in procrastination. Well,
yeah.
I think we all, we were talking about the switches when you said you went across the switches on the commercial ones and they dip. Pico is what at Code 83 is what I use exclusively on my layout. And I noticed that too when it crosses the insulated frogs that it would go down. And then I had to get the Dremel tool out and kind of like grind everything, take that, what is that rubber they use, that plastic Delaride or something, I think?
Delrin, yeah.
Yeah, so I had to and now they run really good. They run really good. I was going to buy the Fast Tracks, but I got intimidated because I thought it was about above my pay grade, and I didn't want to invest.
It's not hard, you do 2, but probably 1 or 2, and then you're like, you might want to toss them. But the 3rd, 4th, 5th, you just get better and better at it. I can do a turnout, HO scale size turnout, probably in 45 minutes now.
Not bad. Not bad.
But
plus
the first one is an hour and a half, right?
Yeah. And it has to be relaxing because once you get on the workbench and you start doing it, it's like everything compresses down no matter what the day brings. You go in and you start working on doing a turnout. You're like, oh, that's good. Split Rock says to Eric Hall, I thought you put off getting that doctorate. Dun. The Bob Zenscales Man Cave. Hey Bob, how are you? Long time no see, brother. What scale? Dustin does HO. He has an 8-foot modular, and he has his YouTube channel is called Poor Frank. And it's basically this stop action stuff about this railroad worker that works and gets into all kinds of trouble. It's stop action. You got to go check it out. Let's see. Bob, how's your dad? Who's Bob? Bob. Oh, Bob. To Bob. Something. I'm sorry, Bob. Hope nothing serious went on with your dad, your pop. 1066. What happened here?
Oh, it disappeared.
Yeah, I guess he
was asking about the CP Kansas City merger. Yeah, I just heard about that. That's
Yeah. Yeah, here it is. What do you think of the CPKCS merger? Yeah, I just saw that myself. You
I
know.
wonder what they're going to do to our paint scheme. That's what I want to know.
Ah, true. True. Very true. Adrian Gaston says minor adjustments to commercial turnouts and you can have smooth operation. It just takes patience. No, you're absolutely right, Adrian. It does. It does. It does. Minor adjustments like I did with the Dremel tool doing it. It all works. You just gotta what it is that you want to do, and I think in the long run though your cost per switch comes down.
It does, yeah.
Stuff like that, you know.
Yeah,
And
if you make them on your own, your cost does eventually start to drift downwards. So it's definitely good for if you have a larger layout.
yeah, oh, okay. Oh, Bob says that his dad is still around. Well, thank God for that. Good for that. Otis Tooley is in the house from Princeton, West Virginia. Hello, Otis. Haven't seen you around for a while. Eric Hall says they're going to paint them with the merger. They're going to paint them all yellow and gray.
Oh God, I hope not.
Yeah, that's an interesting acquisition on their part. Let's see what happens and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's still got to be approved by the regulators, right? So
Yes, absolutely. But it will pass. It will pass. More railroad traffic, more commerce, and stuff like that. And but what everybody was asking you what your favorite part. What's the worst part of this hobby that you do not look like doing?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably the wiring. I like neat and tidy wiring. This module, I have to disclaimer, has terrible wiring underneath. My last N scale railroad had great wiring. I think it's just like the cost of copper wire is insane these days, and so when I did this module, it's like, you know what, I'm just going to use what I got. So I've got a ton of green wire underneath that layout, where I should have, like black and red, green and white, purple and whatever, right? Like, so I'm looking at all these green wires going, hey, which one goes where? That was really dumb. But I got it built. I got it done. I was in a hurry, so won't do that again.
Split Rock 232 wants to know any other model railroaders on the island?
Yeah, there's a couple of note. The one I can think of, there's an Nick, and he does algo.
Here, and I made sure I had an electrician friend come in, and he helped me with it. Basically, I did the wiring. He just showed me how to group the wires and keep them, and he gave me some stuff that he used. Right. So now I got a nice, if something goes down, and he put a system in for me, so if something shorts out, I get to see it underneath the layout quickly. So that's it. Let's see if we got any spingy thing. Is soldering necessary skill to learn early as a modeler? I would go ahead answer that. Go ahead.
I think so. I mean, it's good, for I found even on my module that some of my rail joiners, the continuity between them wasn't 100%, and it's good to have the solder joints for sure.
Yeah, I would say yeah. I would say yes to that. I think it would be, it would be something, and if you just practical difficulty, nope. Patrick O'Connor, M&E, Rye, nope. LOL. Yes, it is. Drew Dude's Model Train says we are. Patrick O'Connor, he's a friend of yours as well, Patrick? No, never met him. Hey, Patrick, welcome to the MRL. Who's Big Bill talking to? Hope to get to see you a lot more on the show, on the thing. Let's see. Dang, Eric Hall has to go to the dinner table. So he's going to go. I think, yeah. Are we back on the air, John? Do you know? all refreshed.
Yeah, it looks good.
It is. Well, anyway, Dustin, thank you so much for being on the
Got
show.
no video to show if you want it.
What's that?
We got another video if you want to show it.
Yeah, let's show that video. We're gonna do one more video from Poor Frank, Dustin Pendergast's YouTube channel. Poor Frank.
sounds good.
Where director is queuing it up right now. Here we go. I love the Oh, poor Frank.
So that's only about 130 photos. So it's when you use a stop motion app, it's actually not too hard to get that done. Probably took about 20 minutes, 30 minutes to do that video.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad. How do you add captions in your videos? Split Rock 323 wants to know.
So I use an app, and it's called Canva, Canva. And what I do in there is I'll use a speech bubble. I'll type in the speech bubble. I'll save that as a transparent background. Go into iMovie, and I'll use a that photo as a sort of picture-in-picture.
Right.
And position it exactly where I need it, and there you go. That's how you get a speech bubble.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, and you're worried about doing scenery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, my last operations video that I just posted just last week, which is about 10 minutes long, probably 4 or 5 hours of editing just to get that up and running. So
yeah, well, no, you're absolutely right. Guys who do this full time or basically whatever, it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work, and it's a labor of love.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing, it's a labor of love. So let's see. Eric Hall wants to know, does your stop motion app show ghosting of previous frames, or do you do it all by eye and ruler?
No, it does. So the app that I was using, I've only done 2 stop motion videos. Most of them are actually just regular videos. But the last 2 I used an app, and I used a free version of that app. And yeah, it does. It actually shows ghosting. So you take a photo, and then when you move your item just a little bit on the screen to take the next photo, it shows you how far it moved. So you can tell, have I gone too far or not far enough? And you can kind of get the right sort of stagger, so to speak. So yeah, it does.
Right. Dan Cohen says, I use Canva often for thumbnails, also use them for some content and stuff. So,
yeah, it's a good resource for that, for sure.
It is. Mojave Model Railroading says, a free editing software that is easy to learn is OpenShot for those not so tech savvy in video editing. OpenShot. Sounds like a plan. I like that. Thank you, Tina, for that. Greatly appreciate that. Let's see. Ralph Ronzetti says, late terror, boys and girls. See you next week. Yes. And Dustin, just want to thank you so very, very much for taking time out of your busy family schedule. I know it's on the West Coast there, so it's early in the evening for you. And I thank you for taking time away from your family. Please extend to them a heartfelt thanks for being on the show and taking you away from your wife and the kids and stuff, and sharing your hobby and your Poor Frank YouTube channel. Greatly appreciated. Good stuff. I know how many subscribers do you have on that channel?
I'm getting almost to 500 now.
500. Let's go for 5 million, folks. We can do that, or at least 550. Go subscribe if you haven't already. Push that subscribe button, hit the bell so you can get all notifications, and the thumbs up. But here's the thing. If you do give him the thumbs down, which some of us always get, explain why you're giving the thumbs down. It's not personal. I get that. It's not personal, but give the thumbs down, because how is Dustin or the rest of the content makers of YouTube in model railroading going to learn if they don't know if it's a personality thing, you just don't like Dustin or any of the other guys? No, that's a different story, and that's something you got to work out with you and your psychiatrist. But they got medication for that too. But if it's just a thumbs down because you think he didn't do something right, or I didn't, or any of us didn't, then leave a call it and say, I didn't like the way this was done. I think you could have did it this way. Because how else are we going to learn?
Exactly.
But anyway, Dustin, thank you again for being on. Tomorrow night, March 25th, 2021, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to have Johnny's Train Talk Show. And Johnny is going to be talking about, you guessed it, trains. So come on down. You can be a part of it. If you have a good internet, and you want to be a part of the show and be on camera. If you got something you want to show off, bring that with you. If you got a technical question, any kind of question whatsoever related to model railroading, anything of personal nature, marriage, kids, stuff like that, it's kind of off limits because we don't know, stuff like that. And he'll be on tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Split Rock 323 says, can you add the name of the guest on the title of the YouTube video once it's uploaded? Yes, Split Rock, we can do that. We can do that. Absolutely, we can do that. And Frank Delorio, Dustin, just became subscriber 485. So there we go. We're moving on up to the big time. So with that said, you guys be good, you be well, but most of all, you be blessed, and we'll see you guys on the radio. Good night.